an honor for all of us to have none other than the living legend, Professor C. Rangarajan, with us today on this auspicious day, 27th of October, which is also the birthday of Srimati Annapurni Shanmugasundaram, the mother of our beloved Chancellor and the founding trustee of the Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation. So, on this auspicious day, we thought to inaugurate the annual lecture series in memory of our founding Chancellor, Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram. This annual oration will happen every year on this day. And we are really privileged to have Professor Rangarajan to inaugurate this annual oration. So let me formally welcome all of you, Honorable Chancellor Dr. A.S. Ganeshan, respected Madam Chancellor Dr. Anuradha Ganeshan, our distinguished chief guest and orator Professor C. Rangarajan, Mr. Suresh Samuel, Member Board of Management, Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation, and all dignitaries, colleagues, faculties, and dear students. A very good morning. It is with immense pride and deep sense of honor that I stand before you to inaugurate the first Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram annual oration. This landmark event celebrates the enduring legacy of a great visionary and establishes a permanent beacon for intellectual pursuit and scholarly dialogue at our institution. This oration series is conceived as a platform to engage with transformative ideas that shape our nation and the world. And today, we truly begin this journey in the most distinguished manner possible. We are profoundly privileged that this inaugural lecture is delivered by a living legend and a stalwart of Indian economic policy, Professor C. Rangarajan. His career represents a rare and powerful synthesis of profound academic scholarship and decisive executive leadership. A scholar with a PhD in economics from the University of Pennsylvania, he laid a robust academic foundation, imparting knowledge at prestigious institutions like the New York University and the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, before transforming to roles of immense national responsibility. Professor Rangarajan's contributions to India are foundational. His tenure as the governor of the Reserve Bank of India from 1992 to 1997 was a period of historic transformation. He is widely credited with stabilizing the Indian rupee after the 1991 balance of payment crisis and masterminding India's critical transition to a market-determined exchange rate system. As a key architect of India's economic reforms, his leadership in modernizing our financial sector and controlling inflation laid the groundwork for the growth trajectory that followed. His expertise continued to guide the nation's highest offices, serving with distinction as the chairman of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council across 2 separate terms and as a member of the Planning Commission. For his exceptional and distinguished service to the nation, the Government of India honored him with the Padma Vibhushan, our country's second highest civilian award in 2002. This recognition is a testament to his role as a true nation builder. Even beyond these formal roles, his voice remains a vital one in our national economic discourse. To have a philosopher of such monumental stature, a Padma Vibhushan awardee who has not only theorized but also implemented policies that reshaped our nation's destiny is the highest possible validation for this new Oration series. His presence here today perfectly embodies the spirit of impactful knowledge and visionary leadership that Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram championed. On behalf of the entire Vinaka Mission Research Foundation family, I extend our deepest gratitude to you, sir, for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion with your wisdom. To our audience, I say, we are about to witness a confluence of legacy and learning, a moment where history meets the future. With this, we'd like to formally inaugurate this program with the Tamil Taivarthu presented by the students of the Vinaka Mission Law School. Thanks to Professor Shanmugavalli for arranging this. Thank you. Now, may I request our chief guest, Honorable Chancellor, Madam Chancellor, and Suresh sir, to kindly light the lamp and inaugurate. So let there be light, light everywhere, light in the form of knowledge, light in the form of good sense, light in the form of peace. So now We are about to begin the program with the lighting of the lamp, with light everywhere, with good sense prevailing. We would request, respectfully, invite our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. A.S. Ganeshan Sir, to deliver the formal welcome address and thereafter felicitate our esteemed Chief Guest, Professor C. Rangarajan. Dr. Ganeshan.
Respected Professor Padma Vibhushan awardee, Mr. Rangarajan, other dignitaries on the dais, heads of institutions, students who have come from various schools today to be a part of this function. A very warm and heartfelt welcome to each one of you. Today is a day of deep significance for our university and for all of us gathered here. We inaugurate the annual oration in honor of my father, the founding chancellor, Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram, a visionary whose life and work laid the foundation for what Vinayaka Mission's Research Foundation deemed university has become. His belief in education as a transformative force, as an instrument for social change, continues to guide our mission, our values, and our aspirations. Today is my mother's birthday, 27th October. She's a founding trustee. She lives in Salem, and we thought it is very appropriate that we should have an event on her birthday, because the convocation is on my father's birthday. That's on July 7th. And we thought it would be very appropriate that we should have something on her birthday. But today, she is in Salem, but she conveyed her blessings and wishes to all of us. Because of some preoccupation and some health issues, she's unable to travel. So not many people know about her. She has been a great source of strength to my father. When in the early stages of his life, in his career, when he started his life, and my mother was a kind of great support for her. Not that like when we say that for every man's success there is a woman behind. I'm not coming to that part. But truly in all aspects, she has been a great source of strength to my father, not only for him, for all of us. Even today, she is the major fulcrum around which we all revolve. The whole family is united together, even in spite of my father's passing away 10 years after that. But the family is intact today in all aspects, and the institutions that run very well is because one of the main reasons I would still attribute is it's to her, the kind of the force that she's played in all of us. And our institution, she believes in the human resource as the capital. She believes that values human lives, the values respects humans, human strength in building an organization. So I really want to pay my deep respect and gratitude for her openly in a forum today, so that we should all understand that she has been a great force in building up this institution. So I would want you all to understand that why it has been kept on my mother's birthday. We are deeply honored to welcome Professor Rangarajan, a scholar, a statesman, and a thought leader whose contributions to India and economic policy landscape. His presence today elevates this occasion from a ceremonial gathering to a moment of intellectual and institutional renewal. As chairman of the advisory committee of Vinayaka Mission School of Economics and Public Policy, Professor Rangarajan has been a guiding force in shaping our academic vision. It was through his wisdom and encouragement that VSEP, Vinayaka School of Economics and Public Policy, became the first institution in India to offer health economics as a full-fledged undergraduate specialization, a pioneering step that reflects our commitment to relevance, innovation, and public purpose. This annual oration is not a memorial lecture, it is a living platform, an enduring space where ideas of national consequence are explored, where students and scholars engage with the challenges of our time, and where the spirit of our founding chancellor finds new expression in the minds and hearts of new generation. To our students, I say this, you are here not as spectators, you are the inheritors of a legacy built on courage, compassion, and conviction. The ideas shared today are not distinct abstractions. They are invitations to lead, to serve, and to shape India of tomorrow. Today's topic being like Viksit Bharat 2047, where the growth with stability and equity. We should understand that we want our country to be a developed nation by 2047. So it is very much in your hands. So in the next 2026, in another 21 years, we want to see India as one of the most powerful nations, economically prosperous. So I'm sure inclusivity and like stability and equity are very important parameters to achieve. So what we learn today, whatever you're going to like learn from, understand from great doyens like Professor Rangarajan, will certainly be helpful to you all. So I would request you all to like pay attention to whatever sir has got to say. And I once again welcome you all for this beautiful gathering, my lecture, named in honor of my father and on my mother's birthday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, this gives us a renewed spirit to continue this legacy even after this particular date and hereafter. May I now request Dr. Anuradha Ganeshan to say a few words, please.
Respected Chief Guest Professor C. Rangarajan, our Chancellor Dr. A.S. Ganesan, Mr. Suresh Samuel, Professor Dr. Deblal Thakur, faculty, guests, and dear students. Good morning to all of you. It is a moment of deep pride and joy to stand here at the inaugural Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram annual oration held on the birthday of Srimati Annapurni Shanmugasundaram. This day is special. It honors not only the vision of our founder, who believed that education is the truest path to national service, but also the values of compassion and perseverance embodied by our trustee, Madam Annapurni. We are truly honored to have Padma Vibhushan Professor C. Rangarajan with us, a name synonymous with India's economic transformation. As a former governor of the Reserve Bank of India, chairman of the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, and chairman of the 12th Finance Commission, he has shaped policies that build the foundation of a modern Indian economy. His insights into monetary policy, growth, and stability have not only influenced successive governments, but have also inspired generations of economists and policy thinkers. Thiruvalluvar, in his timeless quarrel, says, Selvathil Chelvam Sevi Chelvam Achelvam Selvathil Ellam Thalai. The greatest wealth is the wealth of listening. The wisdom gained from hearing from the learned stands above all the riches. We have an opportunity, we have one such great person with us here. We are deeply grateful for his presence and for choosing to address all of us and giving our students an audience an opportunity to listen to his profound wisdom. Dr. Shanmugasundaram was a visionary who believed that education was the truest path to nation building. His belief that knowledge must transform society continues to guide every step Vinayaka Missions, taken by Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation. Each of our institutions, from medicine and engineering to law, economics, and the arts, carries forward his dream of creating a self-reliant and compassionate India. Today, as we institute this annual oration in his memory, we also celebrate Srimati Annapurni Shanmugasundaram, whose grace and strength nurtured his vision into reality. This occasion is also a proud milestone for our Vinayaka Mission School of Economics and Public Policy, the youngest yet one of the most dynamic schools of VMR of DU. In a short span, VSEP has distinguished itself through thought-provoking initiatives such as the Vidmahe National Essay Competition, the Innovation Challenge, and international collaborations like the Public Policy and Governance Summit with JGU and Harvard Kennedy School. I commend Dean Dr. Deblal for putting together this program. Through this event, he has set a high standard for economic discourse to inspire students and foster knowledge at the intersection of economics, governance, and technology. We look forward to listen to Professor Rangarajan today. There is a Chinese proverb that says, better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. Such is the impact a good teacher can have. Ulagam taliviyadu utpam, malardalum kumbalam illadarivu, says the Kural. To gain and possess knowledge, it is important to secure the relationship and friendship of worthy people. A lotus flower opens and closes, and it's not in one position. Valluvar says, unlike the flower, we should be consistent. And true wisdom is to keep that friendship alive. And we are grateful to have such a person with us today. And all of you are very lucky that you have the opportunity to listen to him. So may this oration inspire each of us to pursue excellence with humility, innovation and integrity, and success with compassion. The very values Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram and Srimati Annapurni Shanmugasundaram live by. Thank you, and we are looking forward to this lecture of sirs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. May I request our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. A.S. Ganeshan, to felicitate our Chief Guest, Professor Rangarajan. I request our students and faculties from VSEP to kindly come forward with a memento, shawl. And this is the statue of Lord Vinayaka, a usual memento, usual source of energy that we always try to transmit. Now, may I request Dr. Christiana Singh to kindly come forward and honor our chief guest, honor our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. A.S. Ganeshan. Honor, we are offering, sir, with a book duly autographed by Professor C. Rangarajan on this day, and nothing could be a better offering to our Chancellor rather than this. May I request Dr. Janet to come forward and kindly honor Dr. Anuradha Ganeshan. So in these, again, to keep this day memorable, we are honoring her with a traditional shawl and 2 books by 2 Nobel laureates from 2 different times. Gitanjali by Rabindranath Tagore and The Vegetarian by Hum Kang, so that it reflects 2 time points, 2 philosophies, and it remains as a legacy, as we believe that ideas never die, ideas are immortal. We are honoring Mr. Suresh Samuel, member board of management, and also someone who has conceived this Vinayaka Mission School of Economics and Public Policy. It's his brainchild that we all are here nurturing our academic ideas. I will request our colleague Dr. Prashant to come forward, to come forward and honor Mr. Suresh Samuel. And again, for Suresh sir as well, we are honoring him with the 2 books by the 2 Nobel laureates written at 2 different time points. May I now, since it's also a birthday, and we should not really forget to honor or offer something to the one who is the spinal cord of this entire institution. May I request Dr. Anant to please come forward and hand over the gift on our behalf to our Honorable Chancellor. This is a Ganesha idol that we thought we will provide to our Honorable Founding Madam Chancellor, Srimati Annapurni Shanmugasundaram, on this day. So, without any further delay, let me request Professor C. Rangarajan to deliver the annual oration, Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram annual oration on the birthday of Srimati Annapurni Shanmugasundaram. Professor C. Rangarajan. Please welcome him with a big hand, please.
The Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Ganeshan, Dr. Anuradha Ganeshan, other dignitaries of the university, distinguished faculty, distinguished invitees, and my young friends. I am happy to be with you all this morning to deliver the first annual Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram Memorial Lecture. Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram was a visionary founder of the Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation. He was a pioneering educationist and philanthropist. In 1981, he established the Medical Educational and Charitable Trust, which became the parent body of VMRE. He championed education as a tool for empowerment, social mobility, and national development. Srimati Annapurni Shanmugasundaram is one of the trustees of one of the founding trustees of the Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation, deemed to be university, and a guiding force behind its vision and of inclusive, value-based education. Her leadership has emphasized the importance of holistic education that matures not only intellect but also character. The lecture falls on her birthday, 27th October. This must be treated as a day of reflection and commitment to transformative education. I wanted to talk to you this morning for a little bit on India becoming a developed country by 2047, that is, after the completion of 100 years of India's independence. Is this possible? There are other countries in the world which have accomplished it. For example, the per capita of South Korea was the same as that of India in 1951. In a matter of 3 to 4 decades, by growing almost at 7% per annum, South Korea became almost a developed country. And South Korea today is a member of OECD. Therefore, there are examples of countries becoming a developed nation by growing fast. Is this possible? And is this possible by 2047? There is no accepted definition of what is a developed country. The World Bank classifies countries as poor, mid-income, middle income, and high income. They classify countries according to the per capita income of those countries. When people talk about India or any other country becoming a developed country, the measurement that they use very often is the per capita income of the high income countries. In 2024-25, the classification or the cutoff, so to say, for a high income country is a per capita income of $14,000. In 1997-98, the cutoff was $9,600. Therefore, there has been an increase over time as the cutoff. Therefore, when we talk in terms of the cutoff in 2047, we have to think in terms of what that level is. If the level now is $14,000, we have in an article projected the cutoff point in 2047 as $18,400. So, if India is to become a developed country, by 2047, its per capita income must go up to $18,414. In 2022-23, our per capita income was $2,300, and therefore that is the distance that we have to travel. Now, the calculation does not stop here. If India has to achieve this per capita income of $18,000, which I mentioned, then what should be the aggregate output of India in 2047? Now, this aggregate output of India, as you see from simple arithmetic, is a per capita income multiplied by the population of the country. What will be the population of India in 2047? We all talk about the fact that the fertility rate in India has fallen to 2.1, which is almost the rate at which it will stabilize. But it doesn't stabilize immediately. 2.1 fertility rate, yes, it will ensure you. But demographers will tell you the calculation depends upon not the fertility rate today, but the number of women born earlier, and therefore the population will continue to grow. In fact, I believe that it is only about 2047 the population of India will stabilize. Until then, it will be increasing. Thereafter, it will stabilize and then fall. The population of India in 2047, we have estimated it at 162 crores. Therefore, multiplying the per capita income, which I mentioned earlier, of $18,000 with this population gives you that India's total income, the output, should be $30 trillion. Now, $30 trillion is what we have to be from where we are now. And you want to know where we are now. We are now about $4 trillion. So that is where we have to reach. Now, you also hear from people from time to time that India is the fifth largest economy, and it will become perhaps the fourth or the third largest economy in a few years. That is correct. But what has happened really in India is, when you look at the per capita income, it is a total income divided by the population. We have not done badly. We have not done gloriously, but we have not done badly as far as the numerator is concerned. That is, India's income has been growing. And more recently, after 1991, we have an average rate of growth of about 6%, which is not a bad rate of growth. But it is the denominator which is becoming a problem. The denominator is the population, and that has grown. And as I said, that will continue to grow till 2047. Okay, now to come back to the point that if $30 trillion should be the total output or the total income of India in 2047, what will it be in terms of Indian rupee? Now that requires one other assumption, namely what will be the exchange rate of the rupee in 2047. In 2047, now our exchange rate is hovering around 88 rupees to the dollar. Now I must tell you that when I was a student in the US, long back, several decades ago, I tell you, the exchange rate of the rupee when in terms of the dollar was $1 was equal to 4.75 rupees. That was the rate of exchange in the 50s. So now it has become 88. Now what will be in 2047? Now that requires another calculation. So we have projected the possible exchange rate, and I think the exchange rate that you have computed is something like, I think it is 137 to the dollar, and multiply that with $30 trillion, then we will get what India's output should be. Yes, 133.79. And that will mean 4,012 trillion rupees. Trillion rupee is 1 lakh crore. So 4,012 trillion rupees. And what is it now? It is 300 trillion rupees. So the 300 trillion rupees today must grow to the number which I mentioned, 4,012 trillion. Now, all students of mathematics will know that if this is the starting point, if that is the end point, we can compute what is called the compounded rate of growth. The compounded rate of growth will be about 11.41%. Now, this 11.41% is the nominal growth rate. Now, what will be the real growth rate? The real growth rate will be the nominal growth rate minus inflation. And we can assume that all monetary authorities are saying is that our goal is to maintain inflation of 4%. So subtract it from that, you will get 7.41%, the required real rate of growth. And you can compare with what has been happening recently from 2012-13 to 2023-24. the average rate of growth of India is 6.1%. So if you really, summarize the whole thing. If you really want to become a developed country, India needs to grow at 7.4% per annum. Our recent performance is a rate of growth of 6.1%. Therefore, we have to accelerate the rate of growth by another 1% at least in order to achieve what I call the developed country status. I am giving you all these numbers to understand really when people talk about developed country, becoming developed country, what it really means. It really means a level of income which is fairly high. And to achieve that, we need to grow at 7% per annum in real terms. In one way, if you look at it, it is not too big. It is not too high a level. We have done 6.1%. In fact, in the mid-2000s, the performance of the Indian economy was very good. Between 2005-06 and 2007-08, the Indian economy grew at an average of 9% per annum. That was, if you want to call it, the golden days. But it really did. Of course, those of you who are familiar with national income data will find that there are later revisions which have somewhat reduced that rate. But the point really is, we have shown that. But we have to show something else. We have to show that we can grow continuously at the rate of 7% for not 1 year, 2 years, for 2 decades. Then we will get to the level of a developed country. Now, obviously, if you say that we have to grow at 7%, what are the, I will come back to the challenges later on, but what I want to say is that you can't grow uniformly at 6.5%. Because as the base of the economy goes on widening, the rate of growth will come down. Do you know what is the aspiration of the United States? The aspiration of the United States is to grow at 2%. They don't grow at 2% per annum now every year. And their goal is that that country should grow at 2% per annum. That is because the US economy is so wide that it cannot. To give you an example, the output of United States is today 30 trillion. Exactly the 30 trillion that we want to reach in 2047. So they cannot grow. So what will have to happen is the rate of growth of the Indian economy should be higher in the earlier period and slow down towards the end so that you will get an average rate of growth of 7%. So this is it. And we live in an interdependent world. And the growth rate of any one country is not disconnected from the growth rate of the world at large. There are concerns about it. There are fears that if the attitude of the United States and to some extent other developed countries becomes twisted, then the ability of many of the countries of the world to grow as fast as it is required is going to become difficult. And we do hope that if not now, 3 years from now, the attitude of the United States will change and we will get to live in a global economy in which everyone is helping everybody else. If time permits, I will talk about it, but I think that the whole issue of tariffs is distorted the way in which they are presenting it. The theory of international trade tells you that if every country produces that commodity or that service for which it is best suited. And when best suited, I mean can produce it at the least amount of cost. The welfare of the world as a whole increases. Now, if there's a blackboard, I will work out the mathematics, but I can simply tell you that the purpose of a free, and within brackets, and fair trade is really to ensure that the overall output of the world as such will increase by that. But anyway, I am only telling you at this particular point that the rate of growth that is required in order that India shall become a developed country is 7% rate of growth, and we must accelerate the rate of growth from somewhere around 6.5. I have also written a recent article on why 6.5% at the present moment is the potential rate of growth. We need to raise the potential rate of growth from 6.5% to 7%. In the exercise that we have done, we have also looked at the regional dimensions. We say India should grow at 7%. What does it mean? Which part of India will grow at 7%? Which part of India will grow at less than 7%? Our calculations clear. Let me, before I give the calculations, I can tell you, 6 states in India account for 52% of the country's income. All the other states, including union territories, account for the balance 48%. The 6 states are Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, UP, Gujarat, and West Bengal. These constitute. So, it is very clear from this that the different states are at different levels. And therefore, if each state, let us assume, has to become a developed state, then the rate of growth required will vary from state to state. And our calculations show Tamil Nadu requires 8.7%, Gujarat 9.6%, Karnataka 8.7%, Maharashtra 9.5%. So this is a reachable goal as far as all these states are concerned. Now, Bihar requires a rate of growth of 17.4% in order to achieve it. And I think UP requires 14.5%. So, in a sense, what I have conveyed to you is simple arithmetic. All that we have done is, if India wants to become a developed country, what are the implicit quantitative dimensions of becoming that a country? Now, this leads us to the other question, namely, what is it that we have to do in order to achieve this? And what are the the challenges before us? There are many challenges before us. First of all, I told you that we need to grow at 7% plus. Now, if we need to grow 7% plus, what are the requirements? Students of economics will know there is a simple equation that we always use. G is equal to IRS over V. G is the growth rate of the economy. The growth rate of the economy is equal to the investment rate of the economy divided by V. V is defined as incremental capital output ratio. Now, it looks somewhat forbidding, the equation, but it is not that difficult. All that it says is, supposing a country wants to grow at 5%, and the incremental capital output ratio is 5 or 4, then what is the investment rate required? That is simple as that. So if the investment rate of the economy is 20%, and if the incremental capital output ratio is 5, then that economy can grow at 4%. Now, therefore, if you want to increase the growth rate, you have to do one or two things, simple arithmetic. Either the investment rate must go up, or the incremental capital output ratio. What is incremental capital output ratio? Capital output ratio is the quantum of capital required to produce 1 unit of output. The lower it is, the higher will be the growth rate. Therefore, the point is that if you really want the growth rate of the economy to go up, then either you should act on investment rate or you should act on incremental capital output ratio. Incremental capital output ratio, once again, is dependent upon technology and another important factor, the efficiency with which you use capital. So if to produce 1 unit of output, whether you require 4 units of capital or 5 units of capital, depend upon two things. One on technology, the other is on management, the efficiency with which the resources are used. So I would suggest, I will summarize it a little bit later. The point really is that if we really want a growth rate at 7% per annum, then we must work on lowering the I-core or increasing the investment rate. Altering the I-core is not that easy. And I would therefore advocate that we raise the investment rate by another 2 percentage points. The investment rate of India today is somewhere around 33%. That is 33% of what? 33% of GDP, gross domestic product. So if you increase it by 2 percentage points, then divided by 5, which is the incremental capital output ratio, you will get 7. So one rather simple point is that if India really wants to achieve a rate of growth of 7%, first thing to do is the investment rate. Investment rate is a broad term. The technical term is gross fixed capital formation rate must go up by 2 percentage points. So first thing. Second, we have to remain competitive. That is, our economic system should be an efficient economic system. And to be an efficient economic system, you require the absorption of new technologies. We can't remain competitive without absorbing new technologies. Now, here is a danger. What are the new technologies that we are talking about? We are talking about AI, GAI, generic AI, and so on. Now, the fear is that the absorption of this new technology can increase the productivity of capital, but it may not necessarily result in people being employed. You have seen in recent days about many calculations that have been given, namely that absorption of AI and Gen AI will result in perhaps a reduction in employment. Now, this is a danger. Now, we want to grow fast, that is true. But at the same time, we want the people to be employed. Therefore, we need to combine the two together. The way to combine the two together, in my opinion, is first, absorb new technologies. In fact, even in the field of IT, it is seen, it is feared that the way in which it will move is that the top IT professionals, their role will not come down. In fact, AI will increase the role or the importance of the role performed by them. So top will go up. Bottom will also not change very much. But it is the middle section of the IT industry that will be affected as a result of AI and Gen AI. So the point really is you have to absorb technologies, otherwise you'll be thrown out. There are countries in the world whose population is not growing. Typical example is Japan. So its population is in fact falling. Therefore, they are all willing to adopt the AI and other forms of artificial intelligence. And there are countries in the Western world which are thinking in terms of reducing the number of working days. There are countries which are moving now from 5-day week to 4-day week. Belgium has already done. And there are other European countries which are doing. Therefore, countries which do not bother about what happens, do not bother about in the sense that are not affected by the reduction in the employment opportunities because their population is not growing and in some countries it is falling. But we cannot compete with the rest of the countries in the world if we do not absorb the new technologies. Therefore, there is no argument against absorbing new technologies. We must do it. Then, in my opinion, the way to offset the deleterious effect on employment is really to identify sectors of the economy which are relatively more labor intensive. I'm using the word pointedly relative because in the world that is shaping up, there are no sectors of the economy which are purely labor intensive. That's not possible. But we must identify what are the sunrise industries in our country. The sunrise industries in India are different from other countries. I would say, for example, the food processing industry in India is an important sunrise industry. It will help agriculture on the one hand, help the farmers to see that no commodity that is produced is wasted, and therefore, but it will also be labor intensive. We are doing a study in which to identify what are the relatively more labor intensive. Leather goods is another. And the third one is hospitality industry. And the fourth one is to some extent the medical and paramedical services. There the human element still plays an important part. Therefore, India should really go out and identify what are the relatively more intensive labor intensive sectors. So combining these two will give us on the one hand the result that we want in terms of competition, the other in terms of wider employment opportunities. And fourthly, I think the element which is critically important is that social justice has become important. And therefore, expanding social infrastructure, such as health and education, is a critical element of the strategy of development that we will have to adopt. So, in a broad way, raise the investment rate to accelerate growth, absorb new technologies to remain competitive, identify the labor-intensive sectors of the economy to widen employment opportunities, expand health and education, social infrastructure, in order to bring about greater social justice. Now, I can go on and add about these things, but these are broadly the ideas with which one can go. In fact, the strategy of development that we must have must be multidimensional. Some people all point to the examples of South Korea and the East Asian economies, which were once called the East Asian tigers. Yes, how did they develop? They developed by focusing on exports. These are all you will see, whether it is South Korea or Taiwan or Thailand, these are small countries. And therefore, their market is not sufficient to absorb the increased output. Therefore, they focus on exports. And it is by focusing on exports, they expanded their output. We may call that unidimensional. That will not work anymore. We have to have strategy of development that is clearly multi-dimensional. Now, there are two other aspects which I will quickly mention. The title of the lecture also talks about stability. What is stability that we are talking about? Growth cannot be steady and uniform unless certain stability measures are taken into account. Three I will mention. One is price stability, critically important. Second is fiscal stability. And the third is are critically important, and the measures that we take alongside as part of public policy should focus on these things. And there is also another thing that is critically important, and that is equity is also important. After Industrial Revolution, the focus of many of the countries in the West was increasing on output. They cared very little about what happens to the workers, the employees, and all that. For those of you who have read Charles Dickens' various books will know how pitiful the status and condition of the workers. That is no longer possible. We cannot also say that growth first and equity later. That is no longer possible again. Growth and equity must go together. Growth and equity are the two legs with which a nation must walk. If we ignore any one leg, we can only limp along. We should also understand that for growth to be sustained, equity should go with it. But equity will be a distant dream unless it is accompanied by growth. That what we really see is growth and equity are two aspects, and we must take them together. Now, how equity is interpreted is a big problem. For example, one way of looking at it is that the number of poor people in India should go down. There was a committee which I chaired, which calls the Rangarajan line regarding what the cutoff is. That has certainly come down in India. In 2011-12, according to the line that was specified by my committee, the number of people below the poverty line was 29%. According to the latest numbers available for 2023 and 2024, it has come to a single digit. It is about 4.6%. Therefore, the poverty, or what you call absolute poverty, has come down. But that by itself is not adequate. But you will have to argue that you raise the level of cutoff, and then what happens? But the point really is that you can interpret equity in many ways. Some people compute what is called the Gini coefficient, which measures inequality. Well, the Gini coefficient, as far as I see it, is not going up, but it is not going down either. But definitely, the number of people who are who can be classified as absolute poverty has come down. So when you talk about a developed country, and when we talk about the required rate of growth, we should think simultaneously in terms of what needs to be done in order to provide better equity. As I would say that growth and equity should not be posed as opposing considerations. They must be woven together to produce an acceptable pattern of development. Therein lies economic wisdom. I will end with one word to the economics and public policy students. I'm glad that you have all taken this subject, because it is critically important that appropriate advice is given both on economic policy and public policy. I mentioned about where India has to go. The responsibility for doing this rests on your shoulders. You are the ones who is going to bear the burden of taking India to be a developed country. Youth, of which you are part, is full of idealism and ambition. Idealism without ambition may not achieve much. On the other hand, ambition without idealism is dangerous. May you combine idealism and ambition in the right proportion and take the country forward. When I say ambition and idealism, somebody remarked, is this the new AI you are talking about? Yes, in some sense it is, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir. It's an absolute honor to listen to you. Right from our day one, the day we stepped in the world of economics, your words are text to us. And today's oration is actually not an oration, it's a public policy paper for all of us who are students of economics. Thank you so much for delivering the inaugural Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram annual oration. Now we have a small prize distribution ceremony just to announce. The Vinayaka Mission School of Economics and Public Policy organized a national level essay competition with Mahe, and the theme was Reimagining Education, the Role of Technology in Vikasit Bharat. We received for the class 11 and 12 students. It was organized, the duration was from December 2024 to May 2025, and we received almost around 355 entries from all over the country, from different schools. It was not an easy task to read each and every essay carefully, and of course all the essays were great, but then we have to draw a line, the formalities, the winners, and we could not really narrow down to single winners in the first, second and third categories, because it was so good. So we have joint winners in almost all the categories. We have the prize money, and the prize money will be equally distributed among the winners. We'll take their bank accounts and transfer the amount to the respective bank accounts. My team will collect those. In the meantime, we'd like to announce the winners here, and I'll request the dignitaries on stage to kindly hand over the medals, memento and the certificate. This essay competition was jointly organized by Vinayaka Mission School of Economics and Public Policy and HCL Tech. So we also have our friends from HCL, May I also request them to please be on stage while we give the prizes for Vidmahe, because you are an equal stakeholder to organize these essay competition. The first prize, the joint winners are from Sri Shankara Senior Secondary School, Adyar, Parvati Subramaniam and Ovia Rajesh. May I request them to kindly come on stage and collect the prizes from Honorable Chancellor and the Chief Guest. Yeah, please. No, yeah. Ovia, please, yeah. So it's indeed a matter of prestige for Sri Shankara Higher Secondary School. Hats off to the teachers teaching and mentoring such brilliant minds. Parvati could not make it today. We'll send her award to the school. The second prize again goes to students from Sri Shankara Senior Secondary School, Adyar, Sri Shikshatan School, Kolkata, GD Public School, Coimbatore, Sri Ravi Shankar Vidya Mandir, Kochi, and Garden High School, Kolkata. So we have few of them here. R.T. Dhania, second prize winner from Sri Shankara Senior Secondary School, Adyar. We have Siddharth Venkateshwaran from GD Public School, Coimbatore. I'd request both of them to kindly come on stage. Collect the awards. Yeah. Dhanya, please stay back. We'll have the photograph with sir. Siddharth, please stay back. Yeah. Please stand in between and for the photograph, please. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. The third prize is, again, we have from the PSBB Millennium School, OMR, Chennai. We have again Sri Shankara Senior Secondary School, Adyar, Gokhel Memorial Girls School, Kolkata, Nirmala Higher Secondary School, Guntur, and the Bhavanipur Gujarati Education Society, Kolkata. And we have three participants, three winners here. Haladini Vaitisharan from the PSBB Millennium School, OMR, Chennai. We have S. Shriya from Sri Shankara Senior Secondary School, Adyar, and Ishani B. Bhardwaj from Sri Shankara Senior Secondary School, Adyar. I'd request all of you to come on stage, collect your awards. A big hand for all the winners, please. And of course, kudos to all the teachers and mentors of the schools. What a brilliant mind you are producing. The country really needs more and more brilliant minds, fertile minds like this. Please stay back on the stage to have the joint photograph. Yeah, all of you please come and yeah. Yes, please show your mementos. Yeah. A big round of applause for all the winners, their teachers, and all the students who have come here today. Thank you. And the maximum contributor award goes to Sri Niketan Pathshala Manivakkam, but they are unable to come here today. We'll send the award to the school. And thanks Mohan, thanks Narinder for being here. They are our friends from HCL. Ambika Natarajan, the Senior Vice President, had conveyed her good wishes. She could not make it today on her own in person. Thank you, sir. So that completes the award-winning ceremony. And now we are approaching the last leg of this program. And it's my personal privilege to call Mr. Suresh Samuel, the member Board of Management, Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, deemed to be university, someone who has conceived VSEP, who has invited me to this institution, and now I'm trying my best to take it forward with his able guidance. Suresh sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, it's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks at the inaugural of Dr. A. Shanmugasundaram annual oration, held most meaningfully on the birthday of beloved founding Madam Chancellor, Srimati Annapurni Shanmugasundaram, whose lifelong vision of inclusive, value-based education and continues to shape and strengthen our university mission. We are profoundly honored by the presence of our chief guest, Professor C. Rangarajan, one of the longest serving policy maker of our country, and the chairman of Madras School of Economics. Today, his session has been very thought-provoking for all the youngsters in terms of how you look India in 2047 in the Viksit Bharat. The way Sir took us through in terms of the fundamentals of the growth rate and how it will help in terms of looking at the investment rate and also looking at the investment output has really enlightened most of us. In fact, all of us in terms of how we really need to look in terms of India growth going forward. And also, we being the populous nation, what are all the sectors that we need to focus upon to ensure that we are labor intensive, and how we could help in terms of the growth rate has been a very important message that all of us should take it. Though artificial intelligence would be creating a bit of a disruption, looking in terms of how ambitious and ideal each one of us can become in terms of the growth of India 2047 is something that we all need to take as an important message from today's oration. Thank you so much, sir, for coming here and delivering this wonderful message. Thank you. I also express a heartfelt gratitude to our beloved Honorable Chancellor, Dr. A.S. Ganeshan, for his visionary leadership, and to Dr. Anuradha Ganeshan, the Vice President, on constant encouragement and presence, which continuously inspire us to aim higher. Vinayaka School of Economics and Public Policy is the youngest baby in our university, and under the leadership of Debdulal, we are continuously trying to bring in the importance and value of this program, which will help our own nation's growth and also in terms of our own economic excellence in the days to come. In fact, Sir was also asking how big is the student strength. I mean, we are now taking this important key message to all the school children and also to the other potential sectors, wherein the importance of this program is something very imperative for our own policy that we are going to make in days to come to support the policy and to support the growth rate. So this is an important program that Vinayaka Mission has taken it up. And like what Chancellor mentioned, this is also we are one of the first mover in terms of the health economics, what we have integrated in this overall curriculum. So based on the guidance and strategic advisory from the management team, we are able to really take this program to the next level. I also thank all the dignitaries, head of the institutions, students, and some of the alumni and well-wishers, and our partners from HCL Technologies who have come here joining us on this first annual oration, and also providing the warmth on this special occasion. I thank all of you people. I also thank Vid Mahe essay competition awardees. I congratulate them. I mean, it's important that you guys, you students, take this important message to your own school, to your own teachers, and enlighten in terms of what you heard today with regard to Viksit Bharat 2047. I appreciate the team VSEP, Vinayaka of Economics and Public Policy, for conceiving this and curating this oration with scholarly excellence, to the Vinayaka Mission's Chennai campus faculties and technical teams for ensuring smooth arrangement, and the VMRF digital and media marketing team for amplifying this event across the platform. This day marks not only an inaugural event, but a renewed commitment to advance knowledge, policy, and practice in service of a Viksit Bharat that is prosperous, inclusive, and equitable, with a growth rate of 7% plus. As we close, let us carry forward the vision shared today with resolve, imagination, and collaboration towards the future where every Indian shares in the promise of progress. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. As we are coming to the closure of this particular event, may I request the students from VMLS Vinayaka Mission Law School to come on stage, and request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
जनहमनहतिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे जागे तब से दादा जन गण मंगल नायक जय गे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे